after nearly a month of daily attempts to arrest Pastor Apollo Quiboloy and his cohorts inside the KOGC compound, which is 30-hectare property in Davao City, on September 8, 2024, he was arrested by the PNP. After various dramas have been witnessed by the public in relation to this arrest, and a number of victims of Quiboloy have slowly surfaced, approached us, and has given significant information about the illegal activities of said personality committed repeatedly over the years. With the painstaking efforts made by the law enforcement agencies, significant revelations were made to our investigators which are relevant to the prosecution of Quiboloy and his illegal activities, particularly in the highly technical scheme qualified trafficking in persons committed by him and his cohorts. Next slide, please. The kingdom of Jesus Christ was founded, yes. I think ito yung tanong kanina na next po, next na. Next slide. Thank you. Kanina, Pastor Quiboloy was asked kung ilan yung members of the KOGC. And publicly announced that their members have reached about 8 million followers. However, based on the interviews conducted by us, only about less than 8,000 members are believed to be currently active members of the said religious denominations worldwide. And nakita po ninyo sa screen yung breakdown. And these are all, they were all supplied by some of the members akin to the dynamics of KOGC. About 20 countries plus one, the Philippines, about 21 countries ang nailista ho namin dyan. Next slide. Nandyan ho yung mga numero. Next slide. Ito yung simplified projection of the tip scheme of Pastor Quiboloy. First on the recruitment and then the grooming. Doon sa grooming, there will be separation kung sino ang prospect nila na maging subject of the sexual exploitation. Doon naman hindi mag-qualify, doon sa standard, pupunta sa ordinary miracle worker for the forced labor eventually. Next slide. Kanina we were talking about the difference between the lifestyle of the pastoral and members of the simple workers. Next slide.
Just please return to one of the...
Yes, General Torre.
If, baka makalimutan na ni Colonel Marantan. This room is the bedroom of Mr. Quiboloy in the Bible school. Bible school. And there is a bedroom, something like that, looks something like that. With the twin, the lower right corner is the twin tub jacuzzi. Jacuzzi for 2 persons. Thank you.
And taken from the narrative of the pastorals,
Yes, Colonel Marantan.
This is where the sexual exploitation oftentimes is being perpetrated. Next slide. Yan po yung difference na sinasabi kanina ng mga kasama natin ng mga resource speakers. Next slide. On sexual exploitation perpetrated by Quiboloy after victim is groomed and ready for sexual exploitation, and victimization continued repeatedly through the years and by generation. Through his preaching with the inner pastorals per narrative of the former pastorals, Quiboloy aimed to acquire 1,000 women and anchored on the biblical story of Solomon, king of Israel, who had 700 wives and 300 concubines. Next slide. Believed to have victimized around 200 women already. Currently, PNP identified 68 female personalities of different ages whom were victimized by Kibuloy's sexual exploitation, engaged in strict fellowship with the inner pastorals to brainwash them of the purpose of illegal acts. Kibuloy capitalized on the existence of angels of death to sow fear among inner pastorals. Doon pumasok yung matinding compartmentalization na kahit magkakatabi sila, hindi nila alam yung mga nangyari sa kanila. These inner pastorals who subjected themselves on the last rite, which is the performance of sexual activity with the Kibuloy himself. Next slide. Meron ho kaming mga sinundan na mga members of the pastoral. Very fresh pa yung mga experience na they can narrate it. Mamaya ho, maririnig din ninyo yung narrative ni Elias Marie. Next slide. Yung tatlo hong na-invite natin, invited by the Senate, si Stephanie Ibarra, and three of them, pwedeng i-refer ko lang. Si Olive Campo and Jack Holtz ay hindi ho nag-respond sa invitation by the Senate. Pinapakita ho namin sa inyo ang due diligence performed by the members of the DCPO. Pero apparently, they did not heed to the invitation of the Senate, especially Stephanie Ibarra. Next slide. Yan po yung mga efforts. Every day, pumupunta yung mga policemen natin doon sa alam ng mga address nila. Next slide. On the way forward, there's an investigation on the land grabbing issues at Barangay Tamayong, on the house of Kibuloy in Garden of Eden, Barangay Tamayong. Next slide. Oftentimes, naipalabas naman ho yung mga photos na ito. Financial investigation on possible money laundering case committed by Kibuloy and KOJC. Investigation on possible tax evasion committed by KOJC and other proprietary businesses owned by KOJC. Investigation on the legality of operations of schools and other business entitled entities owned by KOJC, and the investigation on the involvement of other foundations utilized by KOJC in the operations. Next slide. And with that, Madam Chair, I think the Elias Marie is ready to narrate her ordeal inside the KOJC compound for 10 years.
Maraming salamat, Colonel Marantan. At bago ko tawagin si Elias Marie, well, salamat dun sa presentation nyo rin on ways forward. Ganun ko rin gustong i-adjourn itong hearing mamaya on the ways forward, both dun sa mga investigations and dun sa rehabilitation ng mga victim survivors. One quick follow-up question, Colonel, bago ko i-recognize si Elias Marie. Ano po yung alam ninyo ng PNP o natuklasan sa Angels of Death? Na-identify nyo po ba ang mga miyembro ng grupong ito? At saka, meron bang mga government officials o workers na involved sa grupong iyon?
Ikaw sasagot. Ma'am, that will be the contents
General
of our link diagram that will be presented later on.
All right,
and
thank you, General.
also, ma'am, maybe it's just hindi lang na-mention ni Colonel Marantan. The investigation has already extended up to out of the country. Colonel Marantan has just arrived from Europe, from Austria in particular, interviewing the pastorals that are already based there. So the investigation is not only limited in the Philippines now. We had already sent agents, and we thank the PNP, our Chief PNP, General Marbil, for supporting us and to go sending officers actually as far as Austria to conduct the investigation. Thank you.
Salamat din, General Torre. Mukhang na-upload na yung slide ng link analysis. Gusto nyo bang ipresenta yung pinaka-importanting aspects nito bago ko i-recognize si Elias Marie?
I'll give you the opportunity, ma'am, to, if you will allow us, I'll give the opportunity to Colonel Jean Licod, the Regional Field Unit Chief of CIDG Region 11 based in Davao City.
Right, salamat, General. Colonel Licod, you have the floor po to present the highlights nitong slide.
To the chairman, Madam Risa Ontiveros, ma'am, good afternoon. The other members of the Senate and, of course, the distinguished visitors. Good afternoon to everybody. The presentation that I will be making this afternoon is just to support whether or not there is an existence of angels of death. So, if you don't mind, if we could just go back just a little bit to the background, ma'am, so that I can read.
Please proceed, Colonel.
Just to read a little bit with the background of the so-called angels of death. Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, the self-proclaimed appointed son of God, has used the term angels of death to threaten the members who violates the doctrine, teachings, and code of secrecy of KOGC. Thus, the angels of death was established in 1990. Apollo Kibuloy handpicked trusted members with background in military and security training to compose the angels of death, which later on utilized as liquidation team to various KOGC locations nationwide. Members reportedly possess firearms and are supervised by Crescente Chavez Canada, or also known as Enteng, and Ingrid Canada. So you might be smiling right now, but later I will prove it to you in the succeeding slides. These angels of death reportedly operate as a secretive, loyal group within the KOGC ministry, capable of imposing both physical and psychological harm on those who do not comply with Kibuloy's wishes. The very name, angels of death, suggests a level of intimidation and power that goes beyond mere spiritual guidance. The allegations paint a picture of an organization that functions as a private army, a weaponized wing of Kibuloy's church used to coerce and control members, particularly vulnerable young women whom Kibuloy has allegedly abused. On the part of the investigation, as the primary investigation office of Philippine National Police and in behalf of my director of the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, we have set some objectives pertaining to the very existence, whether or not the angels of death does exist or not. So we established some objectives to prove whether or not angels of death exist. Second, reinvestigate dismissed cases involving deaths by members of angels of death. Third, identify the crimes perpetrated by the alleged angels of death and its surrounding circumstances. Fourth, identify the degree of participation of members and provide evidence for filing of appropriate charges in court. Definitely, we have to find evidence so that we can file a complaint before the court. As to the efforts that is being undertaken by the CIDG in particular and the PNP in general, we are continuously identifying the alleged members of angels of death, profiling of the alleged members, interview of victims' family, relatives, and witnesses relative to the crimes perpetrated by the alleged angels of death, thorough and discreet validation on the involvement of the alleged angels of death relative to the death of former KOGC members, coordination with other intelligence units, the local police, the AFP, counterparts, and other agencies for case build-up and possible operations if evidence warrants. And next is continuous monitoring and gathering of information and submission of development report as obtained. Now, ma'am, I would like to bring your attention to the diagram being shown in this slide. We would like to show you how is the flow of instruction being undertaken. Of course, as we all know, that the KOGC is a structured organization, but this one, it is not a structured organization. Kaya yung angels of death, ma'am, is just the term that is being used. But it is not an organization. It is how, in this diagram, how the instruction is being relayed or being followed by the members. Well, of course, on the right corner, as you can see, is Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Based on that diagram, Madam Chairman, there are 4 na kanyang pinagkakatiwalaan ng kanyang mga instruction. Si Mr. B, of course, Mr. Crescente Canada, si Ingrid Canada, at saka si Pastor Acobo, based on the diagram. Yan, ma'am, yung 4 na mga pinagkakatiwalaan niya. As of now, base doon sa mga nakukuha nating mga interviews and affidavits na nakuha natin. So, yan ang lumalabas sa sa ating structure. Now, ma'am, in relation to the punishments being undertaken on some deaths also, but we are not saying that they are the perpetrators. That's why, on the words of our director, we are on case build-up. We have to gather evidence so that we can prove the objectives that we wanted, to prove the whatever crimes that was committed. Those are the circumstances. To explain further, ma'am, the diagram. If you see on the diagram, most of the instructions is coming from Ingrid Canada. However, if you look into the diagram, dotted lines po siya, ma'am. So meaning, she gives the instruction, however, they need confirmation from Crescente Canada. That is why there is a solid line coming from Crescente Canada. So, hindi pwedeng si Ingrid lamang po yung magbibigay ng instruction at siya lang din po yung susundin. So, manggagaling, i-confirm din po nung mga 1 to 12 na yan and more kay Crescente Canada. Yan po yung usually nangyayari. As what we are saying, ma'am, these are all taken, extracted from the accounts of our witnesses and taken from their affidavits. Hindi ito invento. All others, ma'am, yung mga nandyan, ma'am, yung mga nakapula po dyan, ma'am, if you look into that. So, yan, ma'am, yung mga ongoing investigation po natin, yung mga tinakpan po natin na ABC, yan ay mga witnesses po natin, ma'am. And with the indulgence of the committee, Madam Chairman, since this is an ongoing investigation and we're looking into some evidence before we can file a case before the court of law, yan po lang muna yung maipapakita natin sa ngayon, ma'am.
Maraming salamat para doon, Colonel Liquid.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just a couple of follow-up questions kung pwede na ring sagutin. Una po, sa tingin nyo ba tuloy-tuloy pa yung trafficking operations ng KOJC? General Torre.
Based on our assessment, ma'am, yes. There's still that possibility, although obviously not on the same scale as when Kibuloy is still heading the operations. And with this kind of publicity that the good senator is doing, I believe that this will have a great impact in stopping this illegal activity, ma'am.
Sana nga po, General. Salamat. At lastly, at this point in time, sino ang new leader? May impormasyon ba kayo kung sinong lumilitaw na bagong head pastor?
As of the moment, ma'am, based on that link diagram, ma'am, you can see there on the upper right corner, Mr. Marlon Acobo. He has been doing that role, ever since I was there. We were there, and I would like to clarify that among the informants that we had, that were covered in that link diagram are people that you actually heard a while ago, ma'am. So those people there are prominently, the people that we heard a while ago are prominently playing a role in that link diagram.
Maraming salamat para doon, General Torre at Colonel Marantan at Colonel Likud. So at this point, kung pwede ko nang tawagin yung isa sa mga victim survivors na magsasalita sa atin ngayong hapon, alias Miss Marie. Willing po ba kayo magbahagi ng karanasan mo? Briefly, pero ano yung pinaka-importanting yung kwentong buhay mo na gusto mong sabihin sa aming komite? You have the floor.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Senator Risa Hontiveros, and everybody present in this hall. Ako, alias Marie Josephine, Filipino, nasa legal na edad at naninirahan sa Davao City. Matapos na makanumpa ng naaayon sa batas ay malaya at kusang loob na naglalahad ng mga sumusunod. Ako ay dating membro ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ o KOJC simula nung ako ay grade 5. Naging membro ako ng KOJC dahil in-endorse ako ng aking mama matapos siyang maging avid televiewer ni Pastor Kibuloy sa kanyang mga programa at enrollment iyon ng pasukan. Ayon sa kagustuhan ng mama ko, napagdesisyonan niyang ilagay ako sa KOJC para mapunta ako sa safe environment kasi natatakot siya na may mangyari raw masama sa akin kasi may itsura daw ako. Sa pagkakaalala ko, noong June 2013, dinala ako ng mama ko sa KOJC. Nag-attend kami ng Thanksgiving and Worship presentation sa KOJC Cathedral. Napaka-welcoming ng mga membro ng KOJC sa amin kasi kusa naman kaming nag-attend ng service worship nila. Sa pagkakataong iyon, nakuha namin ang atensyon ni Nelly Canada na sa pagkakaalam ko ay may mataas na katungkulan sa Jose Maria College o JMC bilang Dean o Administrator. Pagkatapos ng worship, in-invite kami ni Mama na ipakilala kay Kibuloy sa dating Victoria's Building kung saan doon kumakain si Kibuloy at malalapit sa kanya pagkatapos ng worship. Nelly Canada let us meet Pastor and endorse ako ni Mama kay Kibuloy. Habang kumakain sila Kibuloy, kasama ang mga pastorals sa isang malaking round table, nag-usap ng saglit ang mama ko at si Kibuloy. And Nelly Canada also let me meet Pastor Kibuloy. Sa aking pagkakaalala, 12 years old ako that time. Nasa grade 5 ako noon. Narinig ko si Kibuloy na sinabihan si Nelly Canada na patirahin ako sa dorm. Sa pagkakataong iyon, natuwa ako kasi sa isip ko magkakaroon ako ng freedom since medyo hindi naman kami in good terms ni Mama. Ipinakita sa amin ang mga kwarto doon sa dorm at maayos naman ang mga kalagayan nito. Kinabukasan, kasama si Nelly Canada, kinuha namin ang mga gamit ko sa bahay, sakay ng isang Innova ng KOJC. At simula noon, doon ako pinatira sa loob ng compound. Habang nasa loob ng KOJC, nakatira ako sa dorm, kasama ng ibang mga miyembro. Sa pagkakaalala ko, nag-aaral ako ng grade 5 sa JMC, habang binabayaran ng papa ko ang tuition ko, ngunit may discount bilang miyembro ng KOJC. Sa pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay doon, tinuruan kami na lahat ng gagawin namin ay nakabase sa schedule. Sa umaga, magigising kami para mag-devotional ng alas 4 o alas 5. Pagkatapos ng devotional, gagawin namin ang mga assigned tasks o work job na tinatawag kagaya ng pagmamap ng sahig, pagwawalis, pagpunas ng mga furniture sa common area at paglilinis ng kwarto. Isang house parent namin ang nag-a-assign ng work job. Naalala ko din na kapag gusto namin lumabas ng compound, madaming dadaan ng proseso at hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon ay mapapayagan lumabas ng compound. Noong senior high ako, pinalipat ako sa ibang quarters kung saan nakatira ang isang leader na kasama ko. Sa panahong ito, nagsisilbi na ako bilang member ng choir. Kalaunan, na-assign ako sa pastoral department. Meron pa din akong work job at minsan nag-serve ng pagkain ni pastor. Sa panahon iyon, napapansin ko parati niya kasama sa kainan si Stephanie Ibarra, na isa ring pastoral sa inner circle. Sa pagkakaalam ko at alam din ng lahat na paborito ni Pastor si Stephanie Ibarra. Parati kasama ni Kibuloy si Stephanie kahit saan siya magpunta. Mga taong 2017, naimbitahan ako na kumain sa JMC lobby kasama si Kibuloy at ng iba pang mga inner pastoral. Nalaman ko kalaunan na kapag nakakasama ka na sa ganitong groupings ay malapit ka na mapagbilang sa inner pastoral. Naranasan ko ang ganitong routine ng mga ilang buwan. Pagkatapos ng mga ilang buwan, isang gabi, inibita ako ng isang inner pastoral na si Patricia. Sabi niya sa akin, Marie, pinapatawag ka ni Sir kasi sabay daw tayo maghilot, be presentable. Pagkatapos noon, nag-prepare ako, nagligo ako at inayos ko ang aking sarili. Sinamahan ako ni Patricia sa isang private theater ni Kibuloy. Pagdating ko doon, nakita ko si Jacqueline Roy at ibang inner pastoral na nag-aabang sa anumang iutos ni Kibuloy. Habang siya ay nakaupo sa kanyang recliner chair habang nanonood ng movie, pagdating namin doon, binulungan ako ni Patricia na pumesto sa may kaliwang paa ni Kibuloy. Hinilot ni Patricia ang kanang paa habang ako ay nagsimula na maghilot sa kaliwang paa. Si Jacqueline Roy naman ang nagmamasahe sa balikat ni Kibuloy. At sa pagkakataong iyon, naramdaman ko na privilege ako kasi hindi lahat may opportunity na makasama si Kibuloy or ang itinuturing namin na anak ng Diyos or appointed son. Sa tuwing nagtotestify ang mga inner pastoral sa worship or may event or team building, parati sila nagpapasalamat sa pribilehiyo na binigay ni Kibuloy sa kanila. Kaya iyon ang nakatatak sa isip namin ng mga membro. Ang mga pastoral kasi ang ituturing na most privileged sa Kingdom Nation dahil sila naman ang pinakamalapit kay Kibuloy at nakakasama niya sa iba't ibang lugar at bansa at napaka well provided. Simula naghilot ako sa kanya, binigyan ako ni Patricia ng 5,000 pesos kada linggo na pinapabigay daw ni pastor sa akin bilang allowance ko. Pinapalipat din ako ni Jacqueline Roy sa kwarto ni Patricia kung saan malapit ito sa kwarto ni Kibuloy. Naranasan ko rin maisama sa Hong Kong at magstay sa isang 5-star hotel kasama ang mga inner pastoral. Binigyan din ako ng pocket money na pambili ng anumang gustuhin ko. Nagsimula rin ako maglinis sa kwarto ni Kibuloy kasama ang ibang mga pastoral. Hindi kasi lahat ng membro pwede pumasok sa kwarto ni Kibuloy. Nung nanging pastoral na ako, pinagbawalan ako ng mga nakakatandang inner pastoral na pumunta sa mga lugar na madaming lalaki o makipagkaibigan sa mga lalaki. Bilang miyembro ng KOJC, pinagbabawalan rin kami na magkaroon ng boyfriend o gumamit ng cellphone at pinagbabawal pa kami ng iba't pang mga bagay. Noong naramdaman ko na mapapabilang na ako sa inner pastoral, madami ako natanggap na mga bagay kagaya ng pabango, chocolate, damit na galing ibang bansa at iba pa. Paulit-ulit na lang ang ganitong routine sa aking buhay ng ilang taon sa loob ng KOJC compound noong February 2023. Dahil sa kagustuhan kong makapag-aral ng kolehiyo sa labas at sa paniwala ko naman may kakayanan akong makapag-aral, lumayas ako sa KOJC compound at hindi na bumalik doon. Noong araw na mismo na iyon, pumunta ako kay Patricia dahil alam kong lumayas na din siya sa KOJC compound sa panahong iyon. Doon ko nalaman na inutusan siya ni Jacqueline Roy na ihanda ako para maging membro ng inner pastoral. Sinabi ni Patricia na kinausap din siya ni Kibuloy para ihanda ako na maging membro ng inner circle. Inamin din niya na si Kibuloy, inamin din niya na lahat ng akusasyon na sexual exploitation laban kay Kibuloy na inaakusa ng mga lumabas na pastoral ay totoo. Inamin din ni Patricia na inaalay nila ang katawan, isip, kaluluwa at spirito nila kay Kibuloy. Para sa mga sexual na gawain at paghihilot ay umpisa lang ng duty sa pagiging inner circle pastoral. Ayon sa kanya, sabi ni Patricia, dito sa panahong ito, sinisubukan ni Kibuloy kung handa na ba ang isang inner pastoral para ialay ang katawan, isip at kaluluwa para sa kanya. At nung nalaman ko iyon, nagtampo ko kay Patricia kasi pakiramdam ko, ilalagay niya pala ako sa kapahamakan. At hindi niya ako sinabihan sa mangyayari sa akin. Pero nagpapasalamat naman ako dahil nakaalis na ako doon sa compound. At hindi ako napagsamandalahan. Kaya ako nagsasalita ngayon dahil as former member, alam ko na buong operasyon ng KOJC ay bawang panlilin lang lamang. Yun lang po, Madam Chair.
Maraming salamat sa iyo, Marie. Ilang follow-up questions lang, okay? Kung maaari. Okay?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Alright. So, bilang muntik nang naging inner pastoral, bilang naging pastoral, ano yung paniniwala mo sa katauhan ni Kibuloy at kailangan nyo siyang pagsilbihan? Meron pa ba ikaw idaragdag na ano yung mga gawain nyo at ano naman din may idadagdag ka pa bang anong pinagbabawal sa inyo?
Sa experience ko po, besides sa work job nung nandun pa ako sa loob, ako ay na-assign sa Kingdom Children Growth School or Global Child Evangelism. Kaya, besides sa life namin doon sa quarters namin na naglilinis kami, nag-serve kami, ako ay may duties din doon na everyday doon ako. And back then, ang tunay na paningin ko talaga kay Pastor is father figure. Kasi lumaki naman ako na walang ama. Yun po, Madam Chair.
Salamat, Miss Marie. Sabi mo nga 11 years old ka nang ipagkatiwala ka, no, ng iyong mama sa KOJC. So a few years after na inumpisahan kang i-groom para maging pastoral, so you were on your way to being part of the inner circle ng mga pastoral. At maraming beses binanggit mo si Jacqueline Roy bilang bahagi ng prosesong iyon. So meron ka bang idadagdag pa kung bakit nasabi mo iyon na papunta ka na talaga sa gagawin kang inner pastoral? Meron pa bang ibang palatandaan na malapit ka nang maisali dun sa inner circle ni Kibuloy?
Kasi nung lumabas si Patricia, tinanong ako ni Kibuloy kung handa ka na ba na ialay ang body, mind, soul, spirit mo para sa anak. He is referring to himself. At sabi nga na dito sa tanong niya sa akin kasi parang lately lang na lumabas si Patricia nun kung ano gusto ko sa future ko sa KOJC. Sabi niya kung leader ba, along those lines. Ang sagot ko lang, gusto ko lang kasi like ma-save yung soul ko. Yun talaga yung pinanghahawakan ko dati. Yun po, Madam Chair.
So, yung mga senyales mo na papunta ka na sa gagawin kang inner pastoral ay hindi lamang kay Jacqueline Roy pero kay Kibuloy mismo sa ganung mga pananalita at gawain nila.
Yes po, Ma'am Chair.
Okay. And eventually, hindi natuloy ito hanggang makatakas ka nga last year. So, bago ko itanong yung paano ka nakatakas, paano nangyari yon? Pinag-massage ka rin, nung pastoral ka pa at
Yes,
malapit ng gagawing inner pastoral.
Sabay po kami ni Patricia.
Sabay kayo ni Patricia. So, tig-isang paa na
Yes po.
pinamasahe. Okay. So, paano nangyaring na nakatakas ka nung nakaraang taon?
Nung nakaraan po, ibabalik na sana ako sa Tamayong kasi doon kami nag-aaral ng Bible School. Yun yung school na ACQ College of Ministries. And personally, gusto ko talagang makapagtapos ng kolehiyo na totoong kurso, maging professional, ganun po. Kaya po, hindi ko na po kaya na mamuhay sa pang-araw-araw namin na ganun po, na wala kaming choice. Sinasabi may freedom of choice. Pero naka-instruction naman lahat. Yun po, Madam Chair, kaya lumayas po ako. Hindi po ako nagpaalam. Lumayas po ako kasi kapag papaalam ako, nagpaalam na ako kay Jacqueline Doy before.
And kung pwede mong sabihin sa amin in public, paano ka nakatakas? Unless hindi mo pwedeng sabihin. Okay lang, kung hindi kaya, sabihin mo lang sa akin kung kaya mong sabihin or hindi.
I beg po, Madam Chair, na hindi po sasabihin.
Okay. So at least hindi mo sabihin in public. Huling tanong ko sa iyo sa ngayon, no, Miss Marie, at sinabi din ito ng ibang mga resource persons natin, pati mga magulang, maraming mga bata ang nasa poder ng kingdom. Dahil bata ka pa nung nag-umpisa sa KOJC, ano yung mga obserbasyon at mga nalalaman mo na mga nangyayari sa mga batang miyembro?
Isa po sa mga na-observe ko po doon, like recently lang po last year, may case po about sa bata sa indangan na sexually molest siya ng isang LGBTQ na member. Lalaki po siya na bata. Nurse po siya supposedly. Tapos I don't know po kung na-raise nila to legally. And I know po na hindi lang po ito isang kaso na may batang namolest siya sa ibang properties ng KOJC.
Okay, maraming salamat, Miss Marie. So, paki-stay on hanggat mag-adjourn tayo ng pagdinig just in case may iba pang at kaugnay na tanong sa iyo. Okay? Maraming salamat. Ituloy mo yung pangarap mong makapagtapos at i-pursue yung profesyon na iniisip mo para sa sarili mo. Okay?
Salamat.
Okay, salamat din po.